Hi everyone, my name is Kelly Hauk and I am the Undergraduate Program Coordinator for the Department of Middle Eastern Studies here at UT, and I am here to give you a brief overview of the Middle Eastern Studies major, the UT core, flags and liberal arts requirements, and talk a little bit about what you should consider taking in the fall semester. So let's start with the MES major. The Middle Eastern Studies major combines the study of a Middle Eastern language, so that's Arabic, Persian, Hebrew, or Turkish, with a survey of courses in social sciences, history, and the arts and humanities. In addition to those courses, every student who is a Middle Eastern Studies major must pick a track to pursue within the major, and for those tracks we have 8 different choices. There's Arabic, Persian, Hebrew, Turkish, or the Ancient Near East, History, Islamic Studies, and Literature. So whether your goal as a Middle Eastern Studies major is to become fluent in a language, or you want to dig deeper into the history and culture of the Ancient Near East, or maybe you just want to read as many Middle Eastern novels as you can, that's totally up to you. You get to pursue whatever track you want, and you'll get to take 3 additional courses in that area. So by the time you're ready to graduate, you'll have a really solid grasp on whatever it is about the Middle East that interests you the most. Okay, so now let's talk a bit about the UT core, the flag system, and the liberal arts requirements. The UT core is made up of 13 different courses, and it's a total of 42 credit hours, and I'm just going to list them all for you and talk a little bit about them. So the first one on the list is the UGS 302/303 course. This is called your signature course. This is a course that you're not likely going to have transfer credit for. You pretty much always have to take that at UT. The difference between 302 and 303 is simply the size of the class. So 302 classes are a bit smaller, 302 classes are bigger. And these classes do fill up quickly during registration, so it's a good idea to have a couple backups on your list in case you don't get your very first choice. Next on the list is the English composition requirement. You might get this from AP English, IB English credit, or even the writing section on the SAT or ACT, and that's something we can go over together in our advising meeting. If you don't have credit for that class, that's totally fine. You'll just be taking the Rhetoric 306 class here at UT to fulfill that requirement. Next on the list is the humanities requirement. This can be fulfilled by taking English 316L, M, N, or P. Those classes are all literature courses. There's American literature, British literature, world literature, and I think masterpieces of literature. Next on the list, there's 6 hours of American and Texas government. This is most commonly fulfilled by taking Government 310L and Government 312L. Next, there is the American or United States history courses. You're going to take 2 of those for a total of 6 hours. The most common ones that students take are History 315K and History 315L. That's American history up until, I think, 1865, and then 1865 to today. But there is a list of a number of courses that will fulfill those requirements. So you don't necessarily have to take those 2. That's just the most common route that students usually take. Next, there's the social and behavioral sciences, then your math requirement. Then there's Science and Technology Part 1, Science and Technology Part 2, and then the Visual and Performing Arts, which we refer to as the VAPA. You may have transfer credit for some of the science courses. That's something we can look at together, but if you don't worry, you have plenty of time to fulfill all these requirements before graduation. Okay, now let's talk about the flags. There are 8 different flags that you're going to need to accumulate during your time at UT. And most students don't have to go out of their way to find courses with these flags. You'll generally pick them up as you go along, taking the required courses for your major, or things in the core, or the liberal arts requirements. But those 8 flags are, there's 2 writing flags that can be lower division or upper division. There's 1 writing flag that needs to be upper division. There's a quantitative reasoning flag, a cultural diversity in the United States flag, a global cultures flag, an ethics flag, and an independent inquiry flag. Now, the good thing about being a Middle Eastern Studies major at UT is that you're going to pick up a lot of these flags from required courses within our major. For example, you're going to get global cultures pretty much from all of our courses, so you'll take care of that super quick. And then you'll get the upper division writing flag and the independent inquiry flag from our MES 32C3 capstone course. That's the course you'll take in your final spring semester before graduation. So you don't need to worry about it right now, but just know that you're going to definitely get an upper division writing flag, and an independent inquiry flag from within our major. Next, let's look at the liberal arts requirements. There are 5 different requirements for liberal arts students. The first of which is an English literature requirement. This can be the same as the course that you took for the UT core. So if you take that English 316 L, M, N, or P course, it can count both in the core and both for the liberal arts requirements. Next is the foreign language requirement. You're going to fulfill that by taking your Middle Eastern language. So that's one of those requirements you'll take care of within our major. Next, there's an additional social science. Next, there's a math requirement. The math requirement, like the English literature requirement, can be the same as the course that you took to fulfill the UT core math requirement. Then there's something called cultural expression, human experience, and thought. We call that CHET for short. We offer a course called MES 301L that fulfills the CHET requirements, so you might consider taking that. Okay, I know that's a lot of information to take in. You're going to hear this information repeated throughout the orientation process, and we can go through any questions you have during our one-on-one advising session. But now I want to talk to you a little bit about what you should consider taking in the fall semester. So definitely take a look at the core and the liberal arts requirements list, and maybe pick 1 or 2 things from those lists that you want to sign up for the fall, because it is a good idea to get started early. But if you're considering the Middle Eastern Studies major, there are 2 things I would recommend you do. The first is you should take a look at our lower division offerings and pick one of those courses to take, because that's going to give you a nice way to explore the major. It's going to help you pick up that global culture slag really fast, and yeah, it's just a good idea to get started early on picking up those requirements. So we have 6 courses that can fulfill the lower division requirement, and then we also have our lower division introductory course to the major, which is called MES 301C Gateway to the Middle East. In the fall 2020 semester, that course is actually called MEL 301. It's just an old designation, but for future semesters, it'll be MES 301C. So just consider taking any of our lower division courses. In the fall 2020 semester, I know we're offering ISL 310, Introduction to Islam, and in the fall semesters, we will always offer MES 301K, which is kind of an introductory history course to learn about the foundations of the modern Middle East. So whatever looks good to you, go ahead and sign up for those. Now, in addition to taking a lower division class, I would highly recommend that you think about which Middle Eastern language you want to study and go ahead and start studying that course in fall 2020 by signing up for the first year course. It's going to have a 601C number. There are a couple of reasons why I recommend you do this. One is that if you're interested in studying abroad, most study abroad programs have a requirement that you have taken at least 1 semester of the language, sometimes at least a year of the language. They want to see that you have some background, so the earlier you start studying a language, the earlier these study abroad opportunities are going to open up to you. The second reason I'd recommend getting started early is if you want to become fluent or as close to fluent as possible, by starting the language in your very first semester at UT, you'll have time to follow the whole language sequence through and take all of the courses for that language, which is going to get you as close to possible as that goal of fluency. And then the third reason is that at UT and in other institutions like government institutions and even within our major, which I'm going to talk about later in this video, there are a ton of funding opportunities to support the study of a Middle Eastern language. But they often require that you've already studied a semester or a year of that language, kind of like the study abroad requirements. So the earlier you can get started on that, the earlier you'll be able to apply to these really awesome funding opportunities. All right, well, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. My email is going to be at the end of this video, and I'll say goodbye for now, but I'll see you later on when I talk about our funding opportunities and say goodbye for real. Okay, see you.
Hello, and thank you for your interest in the Arabic program at the University of Texas. My name is Arda Eshalchi, and I'm the Arabic coordinator. I just want to take a couple of minutes to give you some information about our program. So at the University of Texas, we offer 4 years of language instruction in Arabic. We offer the first 3 years of Arabic are taken as intensive language courses. So first year Arabic is a 601C in this fall and then 611C in the spring. Those are both 6 credit hour classes. Second year Arabic is Arabic 621K in the fall and then Arabic 621L in the spring. Those are also both 6 hour credit courses. And then third year Arabic is a 531K course in the fall and then 531L, which is offered in the spring. And those are 5 credit hour courses. During those first 3 years of Arabic, we use the Kitab textbook series. So we begin first with Alif Ba, which teaches the alphabet, and then we move on to the Kitab here textbook series, which are the most commonly used textbooks in teaching Arabic as a foreign language. Once students have reached third year Arabic, they're able to then go on and read different types of novels such as the Sayyidi wa Habibi and Saq al-Bambu. Beyond third year Arabic, we offer content courses. The majority of our content courses are listed as ARA 360L, and then there's various topics, and these are 3 credit courses. Some of the topics that we have had in the past include the Arab Spring, contemporary world challenges, modern Arab cultures, Egyptian culture and society, Palestine, and the Palestinians. The vast majority of our students begin Arabic with absolutely no knowledge in the language. However, if you do know Arabic, if you do have some background in the language, then you are required to take a placement exam, which consists of both a written section and an oral section. And this is just to ensure that we put you in the correct course. This placement exam is given in August before classes begin, and you do need to register to take the course. If you visit the Department of Middle Eastern Studies website, you'll be able to find the link there to sign up to take the placement exam. And we look forward to having you in our Arabic classes. Thank you very much.
Salam. That's hello in Farsi or Persian. My name is Babak Tabarrai and I'm a Persian lecturer and the coordinator of the Persian language program here at UT Austin. I want to tell you a little bit about our Persian courses and what makes studying Persian so special and exciting. Persian or Farsi, which in our classes we consider to be the same, is an Indo-European language. That means it shares a lot with languages such as English and Spanish. Unlike those languages though, Persian is gender neutral and it has relatively easier grammar. That's one of the reasons that the students progress much more easily with Persian after only 1 year of studying it compared to many other languages. Persian also shares most of its alphabet with Arabic, and it has many Arabic, Turkish and French words that makes studying it more fun and useful. Persian is also both a classical language such as Greek and Latin and Sanskrit, and a modern language used by hundreds of millions in Iran, Afghanistan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, and some other regions in the world. Here at UT, we have 3 levels of Persian in 4 different classes. In our 2 first-year beginning courses, you will learn to read and write using the Persian alphabet, and you will gain the skills necessary to be able to have a meaningful conversation with native speakers, as well as reading the news in Persian. In our intermediate class, you will study the history of modern Iran, which will allow you to expand your vocabulary to discuss more complex topics in writing and speaking, as well as reaching higher levels of reading and listening. At the advanced level, we offer a variety of courses on topics ranging from Iranian cinema to fiction and poetry to readings on gender and sexuality in the Middle East. At all levels of Persian, even in our beginning courses, we use media like poetry of Rumi and Hafiz and Omar Khayyam, the films of Abbas Kiarostami and Asghar Farhadi, and traditional pop songs to enrich students' cultural knowledge of Iran. Our students in the past have used different scholarships, including critical language and the Fulbright scholarships, to study abroad in Tajikistan and in India, for example. And they have also had immersive experiences at other universities for a semester or 2. After graduation, our students have gone on to work as translators, as cultural analysts, and as interpreters for the refugee communities in Austin and elsewhere. Whatever your interests are, I hope you will consider adding first year Persian, that's PRS 601C, to your fall schedule. مرسی و به امید دیدار.
Merhaba, I'm Jeanette Okor, and I've been teaching Turkish at UT for the past 10 years. I offer courses in beginning, intermediate, and advanced Turkish, advise students going abroad, and supervise student research. Our Turkish language program is small but dynamic. Instruction is focused on building students' communication skills and intercultural proficiency. Students who complete the intensive first year sequence typically attain intermediate mid proficiency level, which means that they can get around the country. And students who study Turkish for 3 years usually attain advanced high proficiency, which in the professional world is working proficiency. Turkic language students use a variety of print and online materials to learn, and units are thematically organized. In class, students spend 70 to 90% of their time speaking and practicing the language. Class is like a gym, and I'm the coach that guides you through activities to get you in cultural and linguistic shape. So why should you learn Turkish? There are 3 reasons. Reason 1, the US State Department has labeled Turkish as a critical language. This means that according to the US government, Turkish is one of the most important languages for Americans to learn right now. Turkey's important geopolitical position between Europe, Central Asia, and the Middle East makes it a major player in the international business world and political circles, and it continues to be a prominent emerging market. Reason 2, Turkey, as you can see, is one of the most desirable travel destinations on the planet. With the rich culture of Istanbul, the beautiful beaches of Antalya, Fethiye, and Çeşme, the once-in-a-lifetime experiences of Cappadocia, and the deep history of the Christian Church, it's understandable why 25 million tourists visit Turkey each year. When you visit these places, knowing Turkish will allow you to talk with the locals, bargain with shop owners, impress the natives, make Turkish friends, and learn more about the culture. Reason 3, Turkish people are the warmest, most hospitable people you'll ever meet. Turks value people over tasks and relationships over time. This means that if your car breaks down, 5 random strangers will pull over to help you fix it, call the local emergency services, and take you where you need to go. If you go to get a haircut, you'll spend 45 minutes drinking tea with the barber and socializing with the other customers before you get started. And if you're invited to a meal at a friend's home, you'll be treated like the honored guest at a palace. As you enter their house, you'll be given a pair of slippers at the front door as you're led to your 5-course meal of homemade dishes, followed by hours of conversation over Turkish coffee. Interested? See our website for more information and register for TUR 601C, that's Intensive Turkish 1, in fall 2020. See you then.
My name is Anat Maimon, and I am the Hebrew Program Coordinator on campus. I'm so excited to have this opportunity to introduce myself, the Hebrew Program, and welcome you to UT Austin. Here are a few highlights that make our program so special and unique and will hopefully pique your interest. Hebrew is a very unique language. It is the only language that was revived after 2,000 years to become a vibrant and modern language. Hebrew is a gateway language to research on Middle East, biblical studies, history, archaeology, modern politics, and conflict resolution. Hebrew is the language of the State of Israel, one of the world's fastest-growing technology-based economies, and a major center for scientific research. Because of its prominent place globally in high-tech, one of our courses also counts towards credit requirements in the business school. So if you take business, this is a great opportunity to show that you're broad-minded and let it count towards the requirements of the business college. Hebrew learning is fun. The alphabet is easy to learn and the grammar is systematic and not complicated. Hebrew is the language of the Bible, the religious and cultural foundation of Judeo-Christian civilization. Passages in the Bible sometimes are misunderstood or incorrect due to translation. In order to capture the essence of the text, we must understand the original language, culture, and environment. Another great reason to take Hebrew if that's what you're interested in. Most students in the bachelor program at UT will have to fulfill foreign language requirements, and this is a perfect opportunity to take Hebrew because we finish 2 years in 1 year. Each of our courses is 6 credits, and if you take 2 semesters, you finished your requirement. Our classes are small with a very diverse classroom. We meet every day. We turn into one big family community. Instructors are always available on a one-on-one assistance and personal consultation. And very important, we have several scholarships that are given to Hebrew students that you can use towards the tuition or travel abroad, travel to Israel, and other travel abroad opportunities that are offered to qualified students.
Hello, I'm Karen Grunberg, Associate Professor in the Department of Middle Eastern Studies and the Program in Comparative Literature. I direct the Center for Middle Eastern Studies, and I'm also the Honors Coordinator for the Honors Program in the Department of Middle Eastern Studies. What is the Honors Program? The Honors Program is an unparalleled opportunity for super ambitious students in Middle Eastern Studies who would like to learn how to do scholarship. It allows you to work in your senior year under the supervision of an expert in whatever aspect of the Middle East it is that you wish to research. You spend a semester working on research and a semester writing, and in the end you produce a thesis that you can be proud of, a real accomplishment at the end of your studies in Middle Eastern Studies at UT. I hope you'll consider it.
أهلا وسهلا ومرحبا بكم لجامعة Texas. If you're interested in studying abroad, careers in the foreign service or international business, or you just really want to learn Arabic, then you may be a great fit for the Arabic Flagship Program. The world-renowned Arabic Flagship Program at UT is a federally funded program that prides itself on guiding students to superior proficiency in the Arabic language throughout their time at the 40 Acres. This prestigious program offers many benefits for students interested in learning Arabic, from Arabic-speaking partners to exposure to different dialects of Arabic like Egyptian and Moroccan, to cultural events, a tight-knit community, and networking opportunities. Most importantly, the Arabic Flagship Program also offers the chance to reach superior proficiency in Arabic through a capstone year in Morocco. Students in the Flagship Program take the 3 years of Arabic offered at UT, followed by a year of content courses before spending a year in Meknes, Morocco in the Overseas Capstone Program. Throughout their time in the Capstone Program, students live with host families, take classes at local institutions in Morocco, and complete an internship aligned with their career interests. The Flagship is a big commitment, but we here in the AFP are dedicated to making this experience as accessible as possible to all students through scholarships and advising. Get a year of Arabic out of the way through UT's Arabic Summer Institute. Earn a scholarship to spend a summer in Morocco. And of course, we try our hardest to make sure all of our Flagship scholars get the chance to spend a year in Morocco before graduating. There's really no better way to learn Arabic than through the Flagship at UT Austin, and there's no better time than now to start studying Arabic. Make sure you enroll in Intensive Arabic 1, ARA 601C at registration, and ask your advisor how the Arabic Flagship Program will work with your degree. If you have any additional questions, please visit our website at liberalarts.utexas.edu/AFP or send me an email at brett.bowman@austin.utexas.edu. You can apply to join the Arabic Flagship Program by August 19th in the link included on our website. Shukran, and I hope to see you all on campus and in our Arabic classrooms. Ma'asalama.
Now I'd like to tell you about 2 funding opportunities that we have in the Middle Eastern Studies Department here at UT. The first is called the Foreign Language and Area Studies Fellowship, which we call FLAS for short, and it comes in 2 forms, an academic year fellowship and a summer fellowship. The academic year FLAS requires that a student be enrolled in a language course and an area studies course in both the fall and spring semesters of the academic year. The benefits of the academic year FLAS are it pays up to $5,000 towards your tuition in both the fall and spring semesters, and you get a $5,000 stipend for the entire year. The Summer FLAS Fellowship requires that a student be enrolled in an intensive language program, usually at least 6 weeks in length, either in the US or abroad. And the benefits of the Summer FLAS are that it pays up to $5,000 towards your program tuition, and it gives you a $2,500 stipend. Now, just to clarify, the FLAS is applicable for any of our languages, so whether you're studying Arabic, Hebrew, Persian, or Turkish, you can apply for the FLAS. Now, the second source of funding that we offer in the Middle Eastern Studies Department is something called the Danziger Scholarship. The Danziger Scholarship is specifically for Hebrew studies, and it requires that you have already taken at least one semester of Hebrew, and that you will be enrolled in a Hebrew course in the semester following the award. So I hope you will apply for a FLAS or a Danziger during your time at UT, and if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me.
Hi everyone, I'm Brian Seitz. I'm a PhD student at UT Austin, and I'm also the student coordinator for the Refugee Student Mentor Program based out of the Center for Middle Eastern Studies and in partnership with the Institute of Latin American Studies. What we do is work directly with the Refugee Family Support and Multilingual Education team at the Austin Public School District to recruit students from UT Austin, both undergrad and graduate, with foreign language experience to go into K-12 schools and work with students from refugee and asylee families and help them navigate their new surroundings, any sort of language barriers they might have, and things like that. Generally, our volunteers work in a sort of an educational role, helping students with homework or in-class assignments or things like that, and also in a more social role where you're just kind of being there for the student and giving them one-on-one attention. Since we work with kindergarten through high school, that could take a lot of different forms. You might have lunch with the student, you might play board games with them or draw with them. It's really dependent on what the student needs in conversation with you in the school. Some of the major language needs that we have are Arabic, Farsi and Dari, Pashto, and Kinyarwanda. But we have a really diverse refugee population here in Austin, and we could also use volunteers with experience in Spanish, Vietnamese, French, Swahili, Telugu, Tamil, Malayalam, Turkish, Tigrinya, and Somali. Our students also come from a lot of different centers and departments, from Middle Eastern Studies, Latin American Studies, History, Sociology, Anthropology, Pre-Med, Engineering. We love to have just as diverse a group of volunteers as families that we work with. So we'd love to see you here in the fall. Thank you.
Thank you for watching our video and for learning about the Middle Eastern Studies major at UT. If you have any questions, please email me at kelly.houck, that's kelly.houck, at austin.utexas.edu. I look forward to hearing from you. Bye.